This message is not for everyone, and I don't say that to be mysterious or dramatic. I say this because if you found this video and didn't skip it in the first few seconds, something inside you is already listening. Quietly, carefully, almost carefully, like your heart knew something before your mind could explain it. You might have been scrolling, feeling tired like no one sees you, and like you've done everything you were supposed to do, but nothing seems to change. And yet, you stayed. That alone is more important than you think. There are moments in life when Allah becomes quiet. Not absent, not distant, just quiet. And those moments confuse people. They make you question your worth, your direction, even your faith. You start asking yourself why others seem to move forward while you feel stuck in the same place. You pray, but your prayers feel like they're floating in the air. You make DU letter 2BF a Macron letter 2BE, but the answer doesn't come in the way or the time you expected. And slowly, a heavy thought begins to form inside you. Maybe Allah has forgotten me. Maybe I'm doing something wrong. Maybe I'm not enough. If that thought has ever crossed your mind, I want you to hear this carefully. Allah does not test everyone this way. And the fact that you're experiencing this kind of silence, this kind of delay, this kind of inner pressure, already tells a story about you. A story most people never get to live. Before we go any further, let me gently ask you something. If these reminders help you, if they bring even a small sense of clarity or calm to your heart, consider liking this video and subscribing to this channel, Dean and Discipline. Not for numbers, but because these reminders reach others through you. Sometimes Allah uses a simple action to guide another heart that feels just as lost as you once did. Now let's return to you. There is a kind of pain that comes from obvious loss, and then there is a quieter pain, the pain of waiting, the pain of delay, the pain of doing your best and still not seeing results. That pain is heavier because it has no shape. You can't point to it. You can't explain it to others without sounding ungrateful or weak, so you carry it alone. Rumi once spoke about how the wound is the place where the light enters, not because pain is good, but because pain softens what pride made rigid. When life breaks you in ways no one sees, something inside you opens. You become more honest with Allah, less performative, less focused on appearances, more aware of your own weakness, and strangely, more aware of your need for Him. Many people want closeness to Allah, but very few are willing to be emptied of themselves to receive it. That empty feeling you carry, the one you try to distract yourself from, the one that follows you even in moments of success, is not random. It's a space Allah is creating. Most people fill that space with noise, with validation, with control. You didn't. Or maybe you tried and it didn't work. That's not failure. That's selection. Al-Ghazali spoke deeply about the nafs, the ego, and how it fights purification. Sometimes Allah delays external success because internal alignment hasn't settled yet. You may be praying, fasting, showing up outwardly, but inside there is still a quiet battle, a desire to control outcomes, a need to feel seen, a fear of being insignificant. Allah doesn't rush this process because a heart that reaches too early often breaks later. If your worship feels dry lately, if you're doing the motions but not feeling the sweetness, you are not being rejected. You are being stabilized. Allah is teaching your heart to worship without emotional reward, to show up without applause, to stay sincere when nothing feels exciting. That kind of sincerity cannot be taught through comfort. Here is something most people never realize. Silence from Allah is not emptiness. It is instruction without words. It is guidance that happens beneath the surface. While you think nothing is changing, something inside you is being rearranged. Your patience, your expectations, your attachments, your definition of success. Ibn Allah taught that sometimes Allah delays giving because if He gave you what you wanted now, it would distract you from what you need to become. You think you're waiting for a door to open. Allah is waiting for your heart to settle. You think the delay means no. Often it means not yet and not like this. There is a reason not everyone goes through this. Many people are stopped at shallow levels of faith. They rely on constant reassurance, visible rewards, quick results. But when those things are taken away, they collapse. You didn't collapse. You questioned, you reflected, you stayed even when you were tired. That already places you somewhere different. If this video feels personal, it's because it is. Not in a mystical way, but in a human way. You are not broken. You are not late. You are not forgotten. You are in a phase that requires stillness, endurance, and trust. And yes, it hurts. Growth that doesn't hurt is usually shallow. Sometimes Allah prepares you by removing the illusion of control. You learn that effort matters, but outcomes belong to Him. You learn to walk without guarantees, to trust without proof, to stay soft without certainty. This is not something Allah teaches everyone because not everyone can carry it. And if you're honest with yourself, you already know this season has changed you. You don't react the same way. You don't desire the same things. You don't chase approval the way you used to. Even your pain feels quieter now, deeper, more reflective. That's not numbness. That's maturity. Stay with me because in the next part, we're going to talk about why this phase feels lonely, why most people won't understand you right now, and what Allah may be preparing you for on the other side of this silence. One of the hardest parts of this phase is not the pain itself. It's the loneliness. Not because you don't have people around you, but because fewer and fewer people can understand what you're carrying. You try to explain it, but the words fall flat. They tell you to be patient, to stay positive, to stop overthinking. And you nod because you know they mean well. But inside, you realize this isn't something advice can fix. This kind of season separates you quietly, not out of arrogance, out of depth. You start noticing that surface conversations exhaust you. Noise drains you. You crave meaning, not distraction. And sometimes you wonder if something is wrong with you for feeling this way. There is. Rumi hinted at this when he spoke about how the path of love makes the lover look strange to those who have never tasted it. When Allah draws someone inward, He doesn't announce it. He simply changes their appetite. What once satisfied you no longer does. What once excited you now feels hollow. And that confusion is part of the invitation. You may feel like you're stuck at a certain level while others move ahead. But here's a quiet truth. Many people are busy climbing ladders Allah never asked them to climb. Progress is not always upward. Sometimes it's inward. Sometimes it looks like stillness. Sometimes it looks like losing what you thought defined you. Al-Ghazali explained that the ego hates uncertainty. It wants clear timelines, visible success, and recognition. When Allah removes those things, the ego resists. It whispers doubts. It makes worship feel heavy. It questions intentions. This isn't a sign you're failing. It's a sign your inner state is being refined. If you're still praying even when it feels dry, that matters. If you're still holding on to faith even when your heart feels tired, that matters. If you're still trying to stay sincere without knowing when relief will come, that matters deeply. These are not small acts. These are the foundations of a steady heart. Ibn Allah taught that when Allah wants to draw someone close, He may first make the world feel distant. Opportunities slow down. Doors remain closed. Certainty disappears. And in that space, the heart either learns to trust or it learns to complain. You've been learning to trust even when it's uncomfortable. This is why you feel different from before. You're not chasing signs as much. You're listening more. You're less reactive. You've been humbled by waiting. And humility is one of the quietest forms of strength. There's something else you should know. This phase often comes before responsibility. Not status, responsibility. Allah does not place weight on a heart that hasn't learned patience. He does not give clarity to someone who cannot sit with confusion, and He does not entrust depth to someone who only wants ease. If you've ever felt like you're being prepared for something you can't name, you're not imagining it. Preparation doesn't always look productive. Sometimes it looks like stripping away false confidence. Sometimes it looks like unanswered questions. Sometimes it looks like learning to stand without reassurance. And yes, there are days when you feel tired of being strong. Days when you wish Allah would just give you a clear sign, a clear answer, a clear direction. That longing is human. Even the most sincere hearts feel it. What matters is that you don't walk away when it gets quiet. You may have heard phrases like, "if this video appears for you." I want to ground that idea gently. Guidance doesn't fall from the sky with labels. It appears through timing, through resonance, through words that land softly but deeply. If you feel seen right now, it's because Allah knows how to reach you without overwhelming you. Most people stay stuck at shallow levels of awareness because they avoid discomfort. They distract themselves the moment silence appears, but you stayed, you questioned, you reflected. You allowed the discomfort to teach you something about yourself. That's not common. And this is why, even though it feels slow, this phase is not a delay. It's alignment. Allah is aligning your inner state with a future you cannot yet see. When that future arrives, you won't need convincing. You won't panic. You won't lose yourself in it, because you've already learned how to stand without it. In the final part, we'll talk about how to move through this season without hardening your heart, what to hold on to when nothing feels clear, and how to leave this phase with more trust, not more fear. So how do you move through this season without becoming bitter, without closing your heart, without losing the softness Allah is building inside you? The answer is simpler than it sounds, but harder than it feels. You stop trying to force clarity, and you start practicing trust in small, quiet ways. Trust does not mean pretending everything is fine. It means allowing uncertainty to exist without letting it turn into resentment. It means showing up to your prayers even when they feel heavy. It means making DU letter 2BF a macron letter 2BE without rehearsing how Allah should answer it. It means letting yourself be human while still choosing faith. Ibn Allah taught that when Allah wants to teach reliance, He removes the supports you leaned on before, not to punish you but to show you that your heart was capable of standing without them. You may have lost confidence in timelines and people, even in your own plans, but slowly, quietly, you've been gaining something deeper, a steadiness that doesn't depend on outcomes. If you look back, you'll notice that this season didn't just take things from you. It also protected you, from rushing into what wasn't ready, from becoming attached to what would have distracted you, from defining yourself by things that could be taken away. That protection rarely feels gentle when you're inside it, but one day it will make sense. Rumi reminded us that when the soul is being trained, comfort is not always the teacher. Sometimes longing is. Sometimes waiting is. Sometimes silence itself shapes the heart more than answers ever could. You weren't meant to understand everything right now. You were meant to become someone who could carry understanding later. And here's something important. This phase does not last forever, but what it builds in you does. One day, when doors open, when movement returns, when life feels lighter again, you won't be the same person who entered this silence. You'll move with less fear. You'll attach with less desperation. You'll trust Allah not because everything is going well, but because you've seen Him carry you when nothing made sense. If you're still listening, take a moment with me. Notice your breath. Notice the weight you've been carrying. And allow yourself to believe just a little that Allah has not been ignoring you. He has been working in places no one else could reach. If this reminder resonated with you, I'd really love to hear from you. Share in the comments what this season has been teaching you, even if you don't have the words fully yet. Sometimes writing it out is part of the healing. And if you know someone who is quietly struggling, someone who prays but feels empty, someone who is waiting and doesn't know why, consider sharing this video with them. Not to fix them, just to remind them they're not alone. Before we close, let me leave you with a gentle intention. Not a formal DU letter 2BF a macron letter 2BE, just a quiet hope. May Allah give your heart patience without hardness, trust without blindness, and strength without arrogance. May He make this season a bridge, not a burden. And may you one day look back and realize that the silence you feared was the place where you learned to listen. If you'd like more reflections like this, rooted in depth, inner work, and faith, stay connected with Deen and discipline. We'll continue walking through these quiet spaces together, one reminder at a time. Rest your heart tonight. You are not late, you are not forgotten, and you are not alone.